Hello there everybody, how's it going and how have you been? I am EuclideanSqd, and we're back here in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links to celebrate the addition of a new mini-box to the game. A whole bunch of new cards have been released, and I did the math, I've got enough gems to open up the entire box, because it's a mini-box that only has 80 packs total. So, without further delay, let's just charge right into the shop and start buying these things. It's Visions of Ice. I have done some of the sort of bonus material relating to this box, like the loner deck duels and the duel puzzles over in another part of the game that I've yet to show off. But I didn't really pay too close attention to the cards, and that was quite a while ago, and I've had a bit of a busy day, so I don't remember exactly what is in here. You know, just like last time, we're just going to go ahead and start buying up packs, and let's see what we get. Please don't have another... Okay, I was afraid that the internet connection was going to break again. Well, let's see here. Spellbook Library of the Heliosphere. If you have 5 or more Spellbook spell cards in your graveyard, excavate the top 2 cards of your deck. Add any excavated Spellbook spell cards to your hand, also shuffle the other cards into the deck. You can only activate one Spellbook Library of the Heliosphere. You can activate any spell cards until you activate this card except Spellbook spell cards. Okay, so this is something I do remember, and pardon me for just a moment, I am moving the microphone ever so slightly. Hopefully that doesn't come across. But there's some kind of new archetype that's all about these Spellbook cards. And the idea is that you use a bunch of these Spellbooks, and then the ace cards of the set can use their effects based on how many spell cards are in the graveyard. So that's a thing. Strength of Prophecy. Yeah, this is one of the spellbook monsters. Once per turn, you can shuffle one spellbook spell card from your graveyard into your deck to target one face-up spellcaster type monster on the field. Increases level by 1 and its attack by 500. That's not bad. It's not bad because I know that yeah, there's a lot of spellbooks. They do tend to go to the graveyard pretty quickly from what I remember about the Lunar Deck Duel, but that's not too much. We'll see if I get anything else. And I do. Spellbook Library of the Crescent. Ugh. If you have no Spellbook spell cards in your graveyard, reveal 3 Spellbook spell cards with different names from your deck. Your opponent randomly adds one of them to your hand and shuffles the rest back into your deck. You can only activate one of these per turn, and you cannot activate any spells other than the Spellbooks. Okay. So it seems to be all about getting as many of those spellbook cards into your hand, so I guess you can start burning their effects to power the monsters. And yet, here's yet another one. Oh, and really quick, I just want to say, if I sound a little bit different this episode, or if you hear me sniffling, today's been a pretty windy day, and my allergies have been acting up, so I've just been a little bit sniffly and snorty most of the day. I already took my medicine, so I'm a lot better than I would be otherwise, but just letting you guys know, sorry about that. Likewise, if you hear me make any kind of heavy sigh when it doesn't seem like I should, it's just me trying to get some oxygen because my nose is a bit clogged. So anyway, enough about me. Wheel of Prophecy, it's an 8-star Dark Spellcaster, 2700 attack. When this card is special summoned by the effect of a spellcaster type monster, target any number of your banished spellbook spell cards, shuffle them into your deck, and if you do, return your other banished spellbook spell cards to your graveyard. Huh. Wait. Target any number of your banished spells. Okay, so you get to select which of your banished spells go back into your deck and which ones go into the graveyard, because I guess different ones of these prophecy cards have effects that activate differently. We've got another Strength of Prophecy and Reaper of Prophecy. I'm not even going to try to read that. I'll just look at it when when I see the results of all 10 packs. Windar, Sage of Gusto, 5-star, 2000 attack point monster. It's a psychic. Interesting. When this card destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, target one level 3 or lower Gusto monster in your graveyard, special summon that target in face of defense position. Alright, so he revives Gustos out of the grave. Musto, Oracle of Gusto. I'm sure they did that on purpose. 4-star Psychic Wind. Once per turn, target one Gusto monster in your graveyard and one face-up monster on the field. Shuffle the first target into your deck, and if you do, negate the second target's effects. Ooh. that's interesting. If you have a reliable way of putting these things in the graveyard, you can just nullify your opponent's monster effects. Ooh, the super rare Tribute Burial. This is one I do remember from the decks because it's really cool. You cannot special summon for the rest of this turn. Once during this turn, you can conduct a tribute summon that requires 2 tributes, by banishing 1 monster from each graveyard instead of tributing monsters on the field. So basically, if there's some nasty little monster hiding in your opponent's graveyard, you can use Tribute Burial to just get rid of it, or just, use their graveyard as tributing fuel. Let's see, another Windar, another Gusto Thunbolt. It's a Thunder. 4-star, 1500. At the end of the battle phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard this turn, you can banish 1 Gusto monster from your graveyard, special summon 1 Wind Psychic type monster with 1500 or less defense from your deck, which, if I had to guess, is probably most of those named Gustos. So... okay, so if he gets destroyed in battle at the end of the turn, you can basically banish him out of the graveyard to special summon a replacement Gusto from your deck. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I'm all about like monsters that replace themselves. I love that effect. Yeah, you could pick Musto. Tricky Spell 4. Quick play spell. Send 1 face up to Tricky you control to the graveyard. Special summon Tricky tokens. Spellcaster win level 5, 2000 attack, 1200 defense in defense position, equal to the number of monsters your opponent controls. Tricky tokens cannot declare an attack. Ooh. Okay, so I do remember the Tricky card just from the real life game. I'm pretty sure he's this Ultra Rare right here. And his effect is something like you can discard a card to special summon him. So I guess the idea is you special summon the Tricky when your opponent has a field full of monsters and then use that to get a bunch of tokens. Ice Master, 8-star, 2500, Water Spellcaster. You can special summon this card from your hand by tributing 2 water monsters. Once per turn, you can target 1 face-up monster on the field, place an ice counter on that target. You can tribute this card, destroy all monsters with the ice counters. Not bad. Not bad. Shame that it kind of blows itself up in the process, but that could be good. Because I know, was it ice counters or was it snow counters? There was a bunch of cards in a previous pack that I think also spread ice counters. I don't remember. Cold Enchanter, 4-star, Aqua Water, 1600 attack. Discard 1 card to target 1 face-up monster on the field. Place an ice counter on that target. This card gains 300 attack for each ice counter on the field. Pretty good. You combine that with some kind of a deck that likes to have stuff discarded. Probably not the best use of it, but you could combo it with a Dark World deck. Gusto Kodor, 3-star Winged Beast, 1000 attack, 400 defense. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 Wind Psychic type with... okay. Not liking you quite as much as Thunbolt. And Reese, Whirlwind of Gusto. Psychic, she's something that could be summoned by those beastie Gustos. Once per turn, you can return 1 card from your hand to the bottom of the deck to target 1 monster your opponent controls. Add 1 face-up Gusto return 1 card from your hand to the bottom of the deck to target 1 monster your opponent controls and 1 face-up Gusto you control. Switch control of both monsters. I guess that could be used for Kodor. You have a Kodor, you trade it for your opponent's big monster. Now, I just realized, I don't think the monsters switch back at the end of the turn. It just says switch the monsters. I'll have to double check that when if she shows up again. Spellbook of Eternity. Target 1 of your banished Spellbook spell cards, except for Spellbook of Eternity. Add that target to your hand. You can only activate 1 Spellbook of Eternity per turn. Contact with Gusto. Target 2 Gusto monsters in your graveyard and 1 card your opponent controls. Shuffle both targets in your graveyard into the deck, then destroy the opponent's target. Alright, not bad. Soldier Dragons, 2-star dragon, 700. Once per turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect, I guess this is a quick effect, so I guess it's treated like a quick play spell, you can special summon 1 level 2 or lower dragon type monster from your deck. Alright, I mean, if you get him into defense mode somehow, face up defense mode, that could be good. Another Musto, 900 defense. Spellbook of the Master. If you control a spellcaster type monster, you can reveal one other spellbook card in your hand, then target one spellbook normal spell card in your graveyard except Spellbook of the Master. This card's effect becomes that target's effect. You can only activate one Spellbook of the Master per turn. So I'm guessing if I had that like Spellbook of Eternity in my graveyard, I could use this and just copy Spellbook of the Eternity's effect. So I guess it's kind of a wild card, it's not bad. Spellbook of Power. Target one spellcaster type monster you control until the end phase it gains 1000 attack. And this is actually another card I could copy with Spellbook of the Master, but anyway. Also, until the end phase each time it destroys an opponent's monster per battle, you can add one Spellbook spell card from your deck to your hand. You can only activate one Spellbook of Power per turn. Alright, so I guess that's how you get around some of these limiting factors of the spellbooks, is you're supposed to use Master to like duplicate spells, even though it's not technically that card. Creeping Doom Manta, 3-star, water fish, 1300 attack. When this card is normal summoned successfully, no trap cards can be activated. Alright. Spellbook of Eternity, Gusto Griffin. 2-star Wing Beast, 800 attack. If this card is sent from the hand to the graveyard, special summon one Gusto monster from your deck. You can only use the effect of Gusto Griffin once per turn. Alright. Works with Cold Summoner at least. I'm sure there's other cards. If you're lucky, Tribute of the Doomed. Chain Dispel. When a spell trap card is activated, destroy all cards in the controller's deck with the same name as the activator. Ooh. That's a good card, considering many metagame decks use multiples of specific spells and traps. Charioteer of Prophecy, 4-star wind spellcaster, 1800 attack. Once per turn, discard one spellbook spell card to target one spellcaster type monster from your graveyard. Add that target to your hand. Alright. Where's that? There he is. Reaper of Prophecy. Here we go. Dark, 6-star spellcaster, 2000 attack. When this card is normal or special summoned, you can activate this effect. Apply as many effects as possible based on the number of spellbook spell cards with different names in your graveyard. You can only use the effect of Reaper of Prophecy once per turn. 3 or more, this card gains 600 attack. 4 or more, add one spellbook spell card from your deck to your hand. 5 or more, special summon one level 5 or higher dark spellcaster type monster from your deck. Alright, well I get why you have to have different named spellbooks in your graveyard. Alright, that was the first 10 packs. We got one of the super rares and neither of the ultra rares, but let's see what we get this time around. Another tricky spell 4, Wheel of Prophecy, Spellbook of Power. Now, already getting duplicates, which makes sense. This is a smaller box than the previous one. Gusto Corridor, Spellbook of Eternity, Justice of Prophecy. 3-star spellcaster. Why do I get the feeling these things are the bulk of the box? Anyway. During your end phase, if you have activated a spellbook spell card previously this turn, you can banish this card from the field. Add both one level 5 or higher light or dark spellcaster type monster and one spellbook spell card from your deck to your hand. You can only use the effect Justice of Prophecy once per turn. The other thing I'm noticing about these spellbooks is that they keep specifying spellcasters, not prophecies. So I guess you could combo those with really any spellcaster if you just want to go like spellcaster beatdown or anything. Anyway, Calm, Serenity of Gusto, 4-star psychic wind, 1700 attack. Once per turn, shuffle 2 Gusto monsters from your graveyard into the deck. Draw 1 card. That's sweet. You can recycle the Griffins. You can recycle with, well, maybe not the Thunbolts because those would probably be banishing themselves, but ooh. We got some ripples, Spellbook of the Master, Contact with Gusto, Reaper of Prophecy, nothing new. Alright, Master of the Flaming Dragon Swords, 4-star Fire Warrior, 1800 attack, 1200 defense. When a monster is normal summoned to your side of the field, except Master of the Flaming Dragon Swords, you can increase that monster's level by 1, and this card gains 300 attack until the end phase. Not bad. Not bad. It could definitely get out of control if your opponent's not careful. Gusto, Spellbook of Fate, Quick Play spell. If you control a spellcaster type monster, you can banish up to 3 spellbook spell cards from your graveyard. apply this effect depending on the number of spell cards banished for this card's activation. You can only activate one spellbook of fate per turn. 1. Return one set spell trap card on the field to the hand. 2. Change one monster on the field to face down defense position or face up attack position. 3. Banish one card your opponent controls. Well, if you go 3, that's a pretty good counter to their big monster at least. Master of Flame Dragon Swords, Chain to Spell, another Spellbook of Fate. It was only marked as new because that one's glassy. Alright. Chain to Spell, Flame Dragon Swords. Super rare, Mage Power. This is not a bad card at all. It's an equip spell. Very simple effect. Equip monster gains 500 attack and defense for each spell and trap card you control, including this. So right off the bat, that's any monster gains 500 extra attack. And you set spells, you set traps, you fill up your back row, that's 1500 extra attack for that monster. Not bad at all. Tricky Spell 4, Gust of Kotor, Gemini Elf, 4-star, 1900 Spellcaster Vanilla. It's only a matter of time before these things start to creep into the game. Gold Ripples, another super rare. Strength of Prophecy, Wheel of Prophecy, nope. Tricky Spell 4, Calm, Gemini Elf. Alright. Another set of 10. Let's keep going. I am going to buy out the entire box in this video, so no need to go back through later and see. And actually, that reminds me, there's one thing I want to check after I do all these. Fool of Prophecy, 3-star, Spellcaster, 1600 attack. Once per turn, you can send one spellbook spell card from your deck to the graveyard. During the end phase of the turn, this card activated its effect. You contribute this card, special summon one level 5 or higher dark spellcaster monster from your deck. You must have 5 or more spellbook spell cards with different names in your graveyard to activate and resolve it. Contact with Gusto, Soldier Dragons. I don't really know how I feel about all these spellbooks and prophecy monsters. They seem too convoluted, really. I don't know, maybe they're the next big thing. Ooh, Prophecy Destroyer, another new card. 6-star, Dark Spellcaster, 2500 attack. Not a bad, just general spellcaster. If this card is in your graveyard, you can banish 3 spellbook spell cards from your graveyard, special summon this card from your graveyard. Fair enough. It's a reviving monster. You have any cards that can return banished things, which I think are very few and far between. It's not bad. More spellbooks. Cold Enchanter, Calm, and Gemini Elf. Spellbook Library, Windar, Spellbook. Come on, I know there's some others in here. Spellbook of the Master, Contact with Gusto, another Soldier Dragons. Spellbook Library, Spellbook of the Master, Spellbook of Life, another super rare. It's an equipped spell. Banish one spellcaster type monster from your graveyard and reveal one other spellbook spell card in your hand to target one spellcaster type monster from your graveyard. Special summon that target in face-up attack position and equip it with this card. The equipped monster's level is increased by the level of the monster that was banished. It's a weird secondary effect to include, but not too bad. You can revive a dead spellcaster. Ooh, did I get an ultra rare? Gust of Kotor, Fool of Prophecy. It's a super rare. Spellbook Magician of Prophecy. Jeez, these things really are everywhere. Spellcaster, 500 attack. When this card is normal summoned or flip face up, add one spellbook spell card from your deck to your hand. Okay. But anyway, the thingy I wanted to check here. Bulk purchase settings. This basically sets when the game will automatically reset the box besides buying out all of the packs. So one thing I wanted to make sure was set it to automatically reset the box when I've collected all super rares and the 2 ultra rares. Because the nice thing about the bulk purchase settings is that if that happens partway through a set of 10, like say I'm 5 packs in and I get the last of the super rares and the last of the ultra rares or whatever, or the last of both, the game will automatically reset that box right there, so the next set of 5 have a fresh chance to get a super rare or an ultra rare. Whereas if I had that turned off, I would have to burn through all 5 packs, get a bunch of rares and normals, and then I'd be able to reset the box. But anyway, and digressing, let's get to the halfway point of this box opening. Cold Enchanter, Windar, Spellbook of Power, Spellbook of the Master, Spellbook Library, Gemini Elf. Please excuse me, I'm going to get a drink of water. I think I bumped the table as well. Pardon me just a moment. Alright. And I just want to check and make sure the... Yep, okay, good, it's still recording. Creeping Doom Manta, Strength of Prophecy, Prophecy Destroyer, Spellbook of the Master, Chain to Spell, Spellbook Library of the Crescent, Windar, Spellbook Library, Gusto Griffin, Little Prophecy, Gusto Kodor, Gusto Griffin. Why can't we get more of those Gustos? Those seem cool. Maybe then. Ooh, new card. Ice Queen. 8 stars, Water Spellcaster. Cannot be special summoned from the graveyard. When this face-up card you control is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can target one spell card in your graveyard, add that target to your hand. You must have 3 or more spellcaster-type monsters in your graveyard to activate and result this effect. So basically, 2 previous spellcasters would need to have been destroyed or sent into the graveyard before she dies for you to recover that spell. So, interesting. If you have any kind of potent spell card that you only happen to have 1 copy of, she can kind of help you recycle it. Kodor, Prophecy, and a Prophecy. It's Prophecy's Cold Enchanter, Calm, Reese, and she was the only new card. Okay. Well, every pack we open, there's less and less space for the supers and the ultras to hide. Speaking of, Chain to Spell, Calm, and a Gusto Thunderbolt. Man, this box is trolling me tonight. Calm, Spellbook Library, Ice Master. Did I already? Yeah. He can special summon by attributing 2 waters. Master Spellbook, Prophecy Fool, Prophecy Charioteer. Another Prophecy Fool, another Kodor. Blizzard Princess, a super rare. Very anime. 8-star Water Spellcaster, 2800 attack. Pretty good. You can tribute summon this card in face-up attack position by tributing 1 spellcaster type monster. Even better. You run a pure spellcaster type deck, she's only 1 tribute. After this card was normal summoned, your opponent cannot activate spell or trap cards for the rest of that turn. Very, very good card. Wow. Yeah, you want to make a spellcaster type deck, she's definitely towards the top of the list of something to add. Let's see here. Blue Ripples. Spellbook of Secrets, another super rare. Add 1 spellbook card from your deck to your hand, except Spellbook of Secrets. You can only activate 1 Spellbook of Secrets per turn. Alright, so I guess that's mostly a way to find spellbooks you want to activate, as well as put spellbooks in the graveyard for the others to run off of. White Knight Dragon, our first ultra rare. Oh, that thing's kind of cool looking. Dragon, 8-star, 3000 attack. During either player's turn, when a spell trap card that targets this card is activated, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. So any spell or trap that targets this thing is worthless? When another face-up monster you control is targeted for an attack, you can send 1 spell trap card you control to the graveyard. Change the attack target to this card. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. It's not only immune to spell and traps, but you can give up your own spell and traps to make your opponent attack it. Oh, that's awesome. Creeping Doom, yada yada yada, more spellbooks. Tricky Spell 4, Creeping Doom Manta, Prophecy Justice, and more duplicates. Wow, not bad. 2 super rares and an ultra rare out of that set. So we've only got, it looks like, 2 super rares and an ultra rare. I'm not going to click on any of them to see them. I want to try and get them this way. Let's see. It looks like we might have found one. Fool of Prophecy, Contact with Gusto. Nope. Fool of Prophecy, Strength of Prophecy, Reaper of Prophecy. Pardon me. If this box wasn't like 80% prophecies, I'd be getting the feeling that the game really wants me to try out that set. But I don't know, just trying to balance the number of spellbooks to the number of prophecies and all that, it seems a little ludicrous. Or rather, it seems like it would be easier if you had like a full 40 card deck. But anyway. Cards look cool at least. I love the designs, especially for the spellbooks. Gold Enchanter, Gust of Thunderbolt, Eternity, Windar, Soldier Dragons. Lots of dupes. Hoping I find the super rares and the ultra rares sooner rather than later, because that's more packs to go towards the next reset of the box at least. And looks like we got none of them. Nope, no new cards. Alright, next set. Let's keep going. Calm, Flame Dragon Sword, Zeriz, Windar, Chain Dispel, Ice Master. Well, I will say this much: you need any Windstones for the card trader. Like, you need just a handful more. Buy a bunch of these packs. There's so many wind monsters in here. Hey, we got the ultra rare, tricky 5-star wind spellcaster. You can special summon this card from your hand by discarding one card. I was right. So that's not a bad effect at all. He actually combos with some of the Gustos pretty well, like Gusto Griffin. And like I mentioned, if your opponent has a bunch of monsters, you can special summon him, use Tricky Spell 4, and put up a bunch of defenses. The only downside is that 1200 defense is pretty easy to break, but I'm sure there's trap cards and stuff you could use to buff your monster's defense or something like that. Gold Enchanter, Strength of Prophecy, Reaper of Prophecy. Actually, I wonder if they added that for farming decks, maybe? I'm just trying to think of why, or how they're intended to be used. And to be honest, it's a bit late, and I don't know if I'll be able to figure it out tonight. But, did we get another super rare? No, we did not. This box is trolling me with all the fake gold ripples. Fake gold pulses, whatever you want to call them. It really is going to make me wait until like the last pack. Alright. Well, at least we know the video won't be dragging on for too long, considering all the duplicates that I've been skipping through. Let's see here. Spellbook of Eternity, Wheel of Prophecy, Prophecy. I feel like I've gotten that exact set of 3 cards like twice already. Master of Flame Dragon, Windar, Spellbook of Power. I mean, that Spellbook of Power is just a general pretty good card, because you use it in any spellcaster. So if you want to use like these ice monsters instead of the prophecies, you can still make use of that Spellbook of Power card at least. Spellbook of Eternity, Contact with Gusto, Gusto Thunderbolt, Manta, Musto, Fate Book, Musto, Prophecy, Prophecy. It really is. I have 3 packs left. Or actually, I think now it's 3, but... There's one of the super rares. Dragon Ice, 5-star Water Dragon, 1800 attack, 2200 defense. When your opponent special summons a monster, except during a damage step, you can discard 1 card, special summon this card from your hand, or graveyard. So it's a reviver. There can only be 1 Dragon Ice on the field. Interesting. And there's going to be the last super rare. So I get 1 free pack out of the next set. Treacherous Trap Hole. If you have no trap cards in your graveyard, target 2 monsters on the field, destroy those targets. Not bad. Especially if you get it early on in the duel. I mean, the only thing is, and I want to make this perfectly clear really quick, it says target 2. not target up to 2. So if you try to activate it when there's only 1 monster on the field, the game isn't going to let you. So just for anybody that's watching and wants to try that trap card out, just keep that in mind. And oh wow, free super rare. I got another tribute burial. I will happily take that. So yeah, that's all the cards for the new Visions of Ice mini box. Like I've said a few times, not entirely sure how I feel about the spellbooks and the prophecies. And I'm sure that you can make a fun deck out of them, but like I keep saying, they just seem really complicated. There is that one thing. This guy. Based on the number of spellbook spell cards. So I guess technically the 2 libraries would count. Spellbook Library of the Crescent and Spellbook Library of the Heliosphere. Because while they aren't, spellbook of blank, they still are a spell card with the word spellbook in the name. So, yeah, I guess there are 5 different spellbooks, because Master, Eternity, the 2 libraries, that's 4 already. 5, 6, 7. Okay, so there's 8 different spellbook spells in this box. Alright, so getting 5 of them with different names is not as complicated as I thought. And actually, if you ignore the super rares and stuff, there's 6 different spellbooks that are rares and normals. So you don't have to get the super rares if you want to use the big effects of guys like Reaper of Prophecy. Or, was it Fate that lets you... Well, Fate lets you banish 3 of your spellbooks to banish one of his cards. I thought there was another Prophecy monster that... that needed like 5 different spellbooks in the grave. I'm just gonna look for it really quick just because I'm curious. So no. It's Gusto, it's the Manta. This guy, Fool. That's right. So you can use Fool as well without having to get either of the 2 super rare spellbooks. And the only downside is if you're not playing them, it's going to take him 5 turns to build up the number of the spellbooks in the graveyard to set off his effect. But, I mean, there's potential there. I just don't know if I'm that interested. I'm much more interested in the Gustos and these ice monsters. But anyway, that's enough prattling. That's my thoughts on the box, and that's all the cards included in the box. So, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all had a great time, and I hope you all have a great day. I will see you all in the next episode, and farewell for now.